Hi, and thank you for tuning in to episode 8 of Beauty's Queens Random Thoughts, Happenings, and Ideas. I am your host, Beauty. Now, I just wanted to talk about what's happening, okay? And what's happening now, today is November the 26th. So we are upon the season of Thanksgiving. We also are okay, so I'm just going to share my heart with you. So everybody, unless you were sleeping under a rock, know what's going on in Ferguson. It's rage, it's anger, it's it's rage and anger for now. But I don't necessarily know if it's a broken heart or a contrite spirit. I think it's mainly rage and anger. And it's because of what I won't say. See, okay, my issue with everything that's going on, and from my last episode, you know that my cousin actually was killed by the police down in Warrior, Alabama. He was running from them, I'm assuming, and they chased him down and shot him in the woods. And I spoke about them being the enemy because whenever your first thought is to kill somebody, then they're enemy. But you have to understand, even in all that we feel, you have to stay in control of your anger, or you have to stay in control of the actions that you do, because violence begot violence. I know I seen somebody post on Instagram. Martin Luther King said his dream sometimes is a nightmare, and that is life. Sometimes the thing that you dream and you hope for, it becomes a thorn for you. But like, it's not. I haven't got involved too much with saying anything about it, and it's mainly because people are people are doing saying, well, it's a white police officer killing a black man, which is very prevalent today. But it's not just that, and that's the problem. And until you understand that it's not that, because black people are not the only one outraged. And some black people are not outraged. Some black people agree with it. So it's not a matter of the color of your skin, but it's the like mindset that you have to understand. So I don't comment, or I don't like or say anything when they say, they're killing, which they are killing the black man. I do see that and I understand that, but it's not just that. It's a like mindset, because there's people of all races and colors that are involved in this. This has to be changed, and there's people that are of all races and colors that can care less because it hasn't hit home for them. It's not a problem because they haven't faced that. Like, you don't live certain people live a certain kind of life. Even before, I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were saying, well, what if somebody did something like that to you? And I said, nobody would do nothing like that to me. And then even after talking to Minister Ron, and he said, there's nothing about my character that says you can do that. And that is just what it is. People do what they feel like they can get away with. And there's certain things, it's certain circles, and there's certain people that you surround yourself with that causes other people to be disrespectful to you, or any kind of way. Like, I necessarily don't have to deal with certain things in life. I don't have a big problem with the police. I understand now that they are an enemy of mine. I do know that. And I've decided that I won't call them no matter what's going on. For what? Because they're only going to make it bad on me. And I've seen that time and time again, because it's not for my protection. Outside of that, I realized that I would just, because I'm always like messing, funny with people and saying, laughing and joking with them. But I realized, no, that's not it. Because if you were in a place where there's ISIS, okay, for an instance, if you were in a place like that and they approach you, you're going to be obedient to whatever they say. You're going to respect them in that manner to know that they are willing to kill you. So you're going to tell them what they want to know, and you're going to do it to the best of your abilities without trying to excite anger. You're not going to be joking around with them, and you're not going to be overly, like no with them. Now, I won't go against what I believe in my heart for anybody, because what's my life to live? You understand what I'm saying? Like, without me even going that far, but just like, what's my life to live? What's the saying? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So I don't go that far. I won't do anything that's going to go against what I believe to my core, but I'm also not going to be disrespectful in any manner, and I'm just going to be obedient to the laws that govern in that way. So if a police officer asks me questions, it's yes sir, no sir, and getting straight down to it. It's, I know the law, I know my rights, because I know my rights. And I implore you to get to know your rights also. And even if you can't fight what a police officer do in the field, so surrender yourself to that. Surrender yourself to that authority. And then when you have your day in court, you can fight what's going on. Now, just like in Ferguson, they chose not to indict, but he was trying to fight against the authority in that moment when you could have fought against the authority in court. Understand that. That's where we at with it. That's where you need to go with it. And hear my heart on the matter, because I'm choosing not to get angry. I'm choosing not to get in a rage, because that takes away the peace that you have even through the bad things. Like, I see it and it's just like, but I knew, because I don't really watch the news, but I was actually sitting down someplace that they had the news on, and they said, well, they had the decision, but they're waiting to say it in a couple of hours. And I said, the first thought that crossed my mind was, men love darkness because their deeds are evil. Know what you're dealing with and then deal with it. I always say, know your personnel. Certain people, I know they're going to act a certain kind of way. So it's not a surprise to me when they act that way. But I know how to deal with it because I know them. And I've gotten to know them in a way that I say, you know what, this is not a surprise to me. And you have to, like I say to my cousin, I'm just going to love you through it, because you have to do that. You have to love people, okay? You can't go into judging them, because even as I realized the other day is that so everybody has their struggle. Everybody has issues that, they can be fixed in order they struggle with. But then there's a difference, because some people's struggle is internal and it affects them more than the outside. And some people's struggle affects the outside people way more, and then you're less tolerant to deal with them. And you're like, oh my goodness, they get on my nerves, because their struggle affects other people more than your struggle. Say, if your struggle is overeating, then the only how you affect people is if you got something to do that you need to be a certain size and you haven't got there yet, versus if your struggle is being a control freak, then everything about you is driving other people crazy, because you're trying to micromanage and control everything, and they just like, oh, this Jezebel. But it's like, everybody has a struggle, so you need to be kind and understand that this is the truth. All right, I'm Beauty, and that was my 2 cents. So I'm TWO.